day, another dollar, man. MIC podcast episode 178, where everyone is master of their own creation. Our guest today is a media producer for the Warhol Academy, at the Pop District. She's been doing that for about 3 years, but I'll let her get into the nitty gritty of that. We have Erin Victoria Davis in the building. Erin, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing?
Thank you. It's
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's good to see you again. Thank you for taking the time. We're no stranger to the Pop District. Shout out to Byron Nash. He was a guest about probably like 60, 70 episodes ago at this point, which is pretty fucking crazy. As well as Jaquay May, Nashville shit. But, Byron definitely works closely with the Pop District. I even saw him at the last networking event that you guys had, like it was like a financial panel, which was like pretty dope. So to just hear the work you do with them, how you're involved, and just what the experience of working with the Pop District is, it'll be pretty awesome to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. For anyone that's not familiar, the Pop District is actually an initiative of the Andy Warhol Museum.
Right.
And essentially, the point was just to create a cultural hub where the creatives of Pittsburgh can come together, continue to grow their skills, but also work with industry professionals and really get experience that's necessary to be a part of their industry. So, with my work for the Warhol Creative, I manage and coordinate our digital content creation fellowship program. Part of the Pop District is the Warhol Academy, which is our workforce development. And so it's really just bringing in people to work alongside me, some of our local filmmakers, really gain those necessary skills, disposition, and any other knowledge they would need to be successful content creators. We also have a program for filmmakers as well, and it's sort of the same thing. And then we also have a digital marketing diploma.
Okay.
So it's really just a place where creatives can come and learn whatever they need to get to their next step.
I think you got a little bit of lipstick on your
Oh.
teeth. Oh, good. Yeah, beautiful.
I kind of lost
No, you were just going into like just what the Warhol does, and just like what people what you're preparing people for as far as being part of the Warhol. So, and we'll definitely get into this again the meat and potatoes of your career, but want to know a little bit about you first. Your background. Like, are you originally from Pittsburgh?
I'm from Maryland.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
What part of Maryland?
I was born in Washington, D.C., but we moved to Glendale, Maryland when I was pretty young.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in the DMV,
Right.
PG County.
Yeah, no, I lived in PG County for a little bit. I was primarily it was Montgomery County for me. I was born in Silver Spring. I lived in Rockville when I was very little. I lived in Laurel for middle school, and then went back to Montgomery County. But I lived in Germantown too, just within all that. So definitely bounced around. But it's dope to even hear that you lived in PG County. That's pretty dope. What part of PG County?
Glendale, Maryland.
Okay.
So it's pretty close to Bowie.
Is Glendale in PG?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't think I've been in Glendale before.
Probably not. It's right next to Bowie.
Okay.
Also pretty close to Laurel.
Okay.
And that's 15 to 20 minutes depending on traffic outside
Okay,
of
yeah.
DC.
Word, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what made the jump to what made you jump to Pittsburgh? Was it just school, work?
Yeah, so I went to the University of Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And I actually studied philosophy. That's what I have my degree in. And then I was also in the pre-med track while I was there
Wow.
at the time. So I've been in Pittsburgh about 7 years total, given undergrad, and then I stayed afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, did you just like the city, or what made you stay?
I definitely started to fall in love with the city the longer I was at Pitt and started to explore more. And I felt like right when it was time to leave, I really just wanted to stay longer.
Yeah.
I did end up going home for a year, but then I came right back. So, yeah, it's definitely a place I wanted to be. I loved being around the Warhol, and I wanted to get back working with them as well.
Sure, yeah.
So it all worked out.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned that you were pre-med, which is fucking insane. So what was that time like? What made you pivot? Was it just the workload? Did it just not align with what you wanted to do long term at the time?
Yeah, I hear you. I think ultimately working in arts and entertainment was always what was in my heart.
Okay.
Even since I was a little girl, I've been very creative.
Okay.
I was writing screenplays on the bus on the way to school.
Really? Do you remember some of these screenplays? That's kind of fire.
I do. I played instruments growing up. I Arts and entertainment just had my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, my mother's a physician. I did have a passion for science and I loved learning about it.
Yeah.
And so I think being so close to it, it just felt like it made sense and it was easy to go down that path,
Right.
especially because I wasn't fully confident in pursuing arts and entertainment. I knew I loved it, but it just didn't feel tangible. I didn't know anyone doing it.
Right. Right. Right.
I wasn't familiar with the industry at all. And then the unfortunate part of asking 18-year-olds to figure out what they want to do forever is that I really didn't figure it out till I was done with
Of
college.
course. Yeah. Right.
So I took the MCAT and everything, but
Damn, you
ultimately
took the MCAT.
I
God
did.
damn, that's crazy. Like just even prepping for that, like
Yeah.
fuck
In
that.
8
That's
hours.
crazy, son. I mean,
8
like what was it?
hours.
Like it was an 8 hour test.
Yeah.
Get the. I mean, listen.
8 hour test.
If you want to be in the medical industry, I need you tested for 8 hours. Like, don't give them no hour test and send them through. But that's crazy. An 8 hour exam is. I'm so glad I'm done with school. Son. That sounds terrible. But I mean, like it even just kind of like leads into my next question. So like, it's like as far as like your role with the pop district, like. Was media production something like you always thought that you would be doing ultimately, like just like what you're doing now with them?
Ultimately, yes. I always wanted to be a producer. I didn't quite have the language for that
Yeah, right.
prior, but once I picked up on it, it just sort of worked out perfectly. The pop district was developing at the same time that I had sort of gone to get some extra education to make sure I was prepared to work in the media space. And I was just able to secure a position based on that training
Yeah.
and some of my past project management experience as well, because I used to work at the National Institute of Health.
Okay.
So I think just leveraging all those transferable skills ultimately led me to be able to take on that role and sort of
Absolutely.
industry hop and be a career changer.
Yeah, definitely. No, for sure. So how did you ultimately come into your role at the Pop District 3 years ago?
I guess it was a matter of opportunity, need, and my ability to fill the role.
Yeah.
Sort of like I mentioned, I had some project management chops, which I think directly translated into program management. I got some of that extra education that I thought would be necessary to work within the media.
As far as what?
I took on some volunteer opportunities like writing newsletters or things for local organizations just to make sure I was really prepared and understood how to work at the industry level.
Right.
And ultimately, it was just serendipitous timing. The pop district was starting. They wanted to start these programs. I had already actually, I forgot to mention, been an intern at the museum.
Okay.
So they were familiar with my work ethic. They understood that I wanted to be there and that ultimately, because I had gotten to do that internship and become so connected to Warhol and understand how he navigated his career,
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to sort of take that legacy and give it to other people.
Warhol's fire though. Like he's a dope dude for sure.
Very inspirational, especially if you just take the time to pick apart how he moved and reconciling that he was an artist at heart and there's no knocking that, but he was also a businessman and he was not willing to be a starving artist for the sake of the craft. So a lot to look out.
Yeah, nah, real shit. And just even kind of like scaling back a little bit. So what made you lean? So like by the time you graduated, like what kind of like what was like your career mindset like once you left school?
I think as I was leaving school, I was still kind of reconciling leaving the medical industry.
Yeah, I mean,
and jumping into arts
took the fucking MCAT and like I don't know if I'm fucking with it. Like I feel you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
right.
imagine it's my senior year of college, last semester. I just finished taking biochem this semester before, and currently I'm in a creative writing class that I actually low-key kind of like schemed my way into.
Okay.
Not for real, but like I wasn't necessarily qualified to be taking that class. I needed a class to graduate from the honors college that I didn't realize I needed. It had to be like seminar level. And I didn't want to take seminar level biochem or chemistry or something crazy like that, but I did have a passion for writing. So I just emailed the professor and asked if I could get into the class, even though I didn't have the background or the formal education because it was for creative writing majors.
Right.
And she let me and just said, let's see what you can do. If you pass, you pass. If you don't, you don't. Figure it out.
Yeah,
And
right.
I did.
Yeah, there you go.
I got an A in the class. I got the time to write a novel and get feedback from a novelist who had been successful in the writing industry. I got to do that internship with the Warhol and work in the curatorial department.
Okay.
And so I think all in all, like getting some experience and doing the work made me realize that this is what I needed
You
to be
like,
doing and
yeah.
focused on. I still wasn't quite confident enough to make the shift for about another year when I moved back to Pittsburgh. I went home. I still studied for the MCAT. I still took it just in case because the exam doesn't expire for 3 years.
Okay.
So by now my scores are expired. But at the time, I was buying myself a little bit
Copy.
of time. So I did it, but ultimately I made the full swing once I got back to Pittsburgh. I just knew where my heart was, and I knew that I had to make the change. I still appreciate the education I got,
Yeah.
and I love having that background in science and that I have such a well-rounded education. I mean, not too many people study philosophy and
Right.
all
Take
of
the
the
yeah.
sciences
Right. Right.
necessary to take the MCAT
Right. Right. Right.
and all these other things, but I'm really proud of the education I have, and I
Mm.
think even if I'm not necessarily using it every day, it definitely helps me do my job better.
Absolutely. What was it like just adjusting for you? You know, once you got the role at the pop district, like just like within that first year, like.
It was not a difficult adjustment, but I definitely got to recognize the areas in which I wanted to grow.
Fact.
I very quickly, even though I had those project management chops and I had a strong educational background to lean on when it came to mentoring and teaching people new skills,
Mhm.
I didn't necessarily have a lot of managerial experience.
Yeah, I mean, right, yeah.
And so, excuse me, from starting that and essentially being thrown into managing 8 people was definitely,
Like a shock.
yeah.
Right, right, right. Well, I mean, like, and like again, it's because managing people is its own like industry, like it's its own lane. You
It
know what I
is.
mean? So it's like, yeah, like you got this media production like role, which is like a leadership role, sure. You know what I mean, but to like immediately just go into managing 8 people when like you haven't done before, that it's kind of fucking insane. Like that's nuts.
It is nuts. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy I got
No,
thrown
of
into
course, of
it,
course, of
but
course. A trial by
getting
fire,
back,
yeah, definitely.
it was definitely an interesting transition. I will say
Like, what was
I've
like,
loved
yeah,
doing it, and I
yeah,
think I've learned a lot about myself as well because you sort of have to manage each person individually.
facts, yeah,
And then ultimately, the Warhol Academy programming is workforce development programming. So it's
right,
not necessarily the same as getting your average job.
mm.
I will say, in some ways, we take on like a level of responsibility for their professional development, even if that comes to how they conduct themselves in meetings or you need to capitalize your eyes when you send me an email.
Mm, yeah.
Not even necessarily to be a hard ass or to
No,
be
right, right, right,
annoying,
yeah,
but
right.
simply
It's
because if
just
I let you do that with me,
the,
you're going to go do that with
the
someone
way you
else.
practice, the way you play, man. Hmm.
Exactly. And I love you, but you can't do that.
Yeah, right.
So it's definitely been a whirlwind just learning to adjust to different personalities and then figuring out how to be my full self at work, but also
Yeah,
being someone's boss.
yeah,
Because I'm not a hard ass at all. Like, as long as you can get your work done, cool. We can
yeah,
work virtually if you
yeah,
would like.
right.
I try to be as easygoing as possible because at the end of the day, work life balance is as important to me
I
as
agree.
anybody
Yeah,
else.
I agree.
Our industry, the social media industry, the media industry, it moves very quickly no matter what.
Right,
And so it can sort of feel daunting and like there's a lot of weight on you to move and execute
right.
deliverables and be able to turn things around very quickly sometimes.
Hmm.
That's just the expectation and that's the job.
Right.
Sometimes it's long hours, it's lifting equipment, it's being on set from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I forgot what you asked me.
Yeah,
But
no, I mean that's just I mean you were just pretty much going over the just how it was adjusting for you, but like
mhm.
as far as like just even let's just even say just like managing like the eight people, what was like sort of like just like a lesson or just like something that you're like okay damn like I managed to get people sure, but I didn't know like I would have to be dealing with this. I mean like I'm sure it's like the personalities probably just like kind of adjusting.
I would say I was not prepared for people to not take ownership of the work the way I do. One, two, I was not prepared for how like lack of tech savvy some people have. Some
Interesting.
people just really were not prepared to learn a video editing software
Hmm.
or to work with their iPhone to be able to capture footage.
Really?
And I was surprised by that because I
Yeah.
feel
I mean,
like,
video editing is like I can like all right, like I can kind of understand that. I mean, like
yeah,
in a sense, but I mean it is a media production. Thing you're
exactly.
joining. You know what I mean? So it's like but like cool. Like if you're still not necessarily fully ingrained in that lane, definitely a place to learn. I think the iPhone shit is like, come on, son. Like,
I was definitely expecting people to have more of a grasp on
yeah,
that,
yeah,
but they didn't.
yeah.
And that was okay. I
Yeah,
think
right.
more than anything, I actually learned I kind of have to step back because I kind of bring a level of intensity to my work. Like, I don't like not knowing things or like
Mm.
potentially being the only person in the room who doesn't know something.
Mm.
I don't like not being prepared. And so there is a level of extraness that
Mm.
comes with that and the things that I'm going to do to make sure I show up how I want to show up.
Yeah,
And I kind of had to realize not everybody
it's on that
is
level.
built
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah. Facts. Yeah, facts.
So that was another thing that I was hoping I wouldn't have to deal with as much as I do. Sometimes people just don't reconcile or even know what it means to own their work, to have
Right.
a sense of urgency,
Right.
to do the things that are important, even if it's kind of annoying
Yeah.
or
Right.
boring
Yeah.
or not something you want to do.
Right.
Especially working at a museum, we
Yeah.
have a lot of rights and reproductions concerns, especially when it comes to publications or as a business on business pages,
Yeah.
um, presenting content that hasn't gone through all of the quality control channels.
Hmm.
And so sometimes they don't want to dot their I's and
Mm-hmm.
cross their T's.
Right.
And I really have to be the person who emphasizes that that's just not something you get to do.
Yeah. Is what it is. Well,
Yeah.
just like so. That aside, what about just like the actual media production role? Like, was that an adjustment or was that pretty natural to you once you got in the position?
You know, it's fascinating. In some ways, it was a little bit of a stretch in the sense that I hadn't set up all of the lights by myself
Mm.
before, or hadn't necessarily used the equipment that our boutique production studio used in their work necessarily. I've worked with cameras before, I worked with lighting, but learning anybody's equipment is going to be an adjustment.
Right.
Hold on, I lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
Just like
Media production.
yeah, yeah, just like as far as like the media production duties, like was like what was the adjustment there for you? Or like just like did it come natural to you like when you
Oh,
started
this is
doing
what I
that?
was going to say.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, in terms of some of those technical skills or like hard skills, setting up lighting,
Right.
working with certain cameras, that was something that I definitely had to come in and learn.
Mm.
But when it comes to learning cameras in general,
Mm.
um, I've had cameras growing up, but even
Okay.
if I didn't, actually learning physics to prepare for the MCAT, lenses and things are a physics
That's kind of
concept.
crazy. I mean,
It
yeah,
is
that's
crazy.
wild how that even looped back and like you use that knowledge base. I can't believe you sat through the MCAT for 8 fucking hours. That's just mind blowing. That and like you just did that, and you can at least like have that base knowledge for whatever pops up with it. Like literally, like you just touched on it with the physics of like the lenses and all that stuff. But golly, like
Mhm. Mhm.
shout out to you. I mean, truly.
So, yeah, it just sort of worked itself
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
Even having to go learn somebody else's specific equipment that I
Mm.
hadn't touched before, it was easy to do that because I already had the background of skills. I think from there, it was sort of honing in on concepts like visual storytelling
Okay.
and being able to manage overall composition and really get into those higher level things like
Right.
creative direction.
Right.
I was very quickly thrown into creating entire productions for real clients. Some of my first opportunities was working with Table Magazine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which we're definitely gonna get to because
Yeah.
that looked super super dope and great job by the way.
Thank
That was um incredible. But so what were some of because you mentioned the role with the NIH, but were there any other production media roles that you had prior to this gig or?
I did do some volunteer social media management, as well as I would say a little bit of public relations,
Okay.
but not necessarily anything that I would say would get me hired
Yeah.
now,
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
especially with how competitive the job market is today.
Right.
Um, yeah, it just sort of worked out perfectly
Yeah.
where I had that internship with the Warhol. I already had that relationship with them. I had some of those transferable skills at the NIH, volunteer social media management, and just sort of having an eclectic background
Yeah.
really worked out for me.
Yo, I feel you on the eclectic background just because when I left school, I was pretty much every job I got was through a temp agency.
Oh,
So I have worked in so many just different corporate settings for so many different industries, I landed on my I guess my 9 to 5 now, just by nature of me moving here, trying to build a life and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But I've had damn near every not every job, but I've had a good swath of just I was working here for a month, what the fuck, it's just what, shit is crazy. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel you. I don't think any of the jobs I've had lend to nothing I do now. I don't feel anything I've done as far as yeah, just my 9 to 5 work has lent into anything I'm fucking doing now. But that's just life for you. I mean, you just gotta kind of go through shit to get to some shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Nah, for sure. So when you're creating content, for brands, organizations, what is your approach to make sure that you're creating the correct content for these,
Mm,
you know, brands
interesting.
or organizations?
Of course, it depends on what kind of content it is.
Exactly.
I think the main points I try to land on is getting very familiar with the brand and the brand's positioning.
Yeah.
How do
Right.
they see themselves? Who do they think they are? And what kind of person do they want to be reaching?
Mhm.
What's the whole point of the project?
Right.
And then I usually do a little bit of market research. If I can include any sort of trending sound, trending topic,
Right.
even tangentially, um, it definitely helps sort of land the content and ground it in our everyday reality. You want it to be something that feels native to the platform, something that people recognize almost in a sense already, that has a level of familiarity. And I think that ultimately just helps secure the trust needed to get the attention and sort of win that person's attention span for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Ultimately, when I'm working with that, I also try to find a good hook, even if it's something simple and visual, even if it's a quick little couple of words that's going to grab someone's attention, coupled with emotion or a sound, anything that will sort of quickly capture them and allow me to continue to show them why they should be watching this video works.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of my training, the Warhol Creative is a high quality shop. Like, we
Right.
genuinely specialize in that.
Right.
We're not going to send stuff out that isn't captioned properly. We're not going to send things out that isn't in the proper aspect ratio. And so I think getting to work with them and getting to work on a variety of different projects, whether it's a documentary or a quick social cut, really gave me the familiarity I need to be able to be a well rounded storyteller.
What type of content do you like making?
Ooh. I've I really love doing interviews.
Oh, for real?
I
Ironic. Yeah.
do.
On the other side of one right now.
Yeah. I think it's super fun to just get in depth with an individual
Yeah.
and give them the time to shine for a little bit and just
Yeah.
engage with them about
Facts. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever is the topic at the
Yeah.
moment. I do a lot of interviews through the Pop District. Sometimes we do it for external clients.
Okay.
My favorite interviews I think
I was
I
about
got
to say,
to
yeah,
do
who you interviewed? Like,
was at the Pittsburgh Robotics Network Discovery Day.
okay, word up. Okay.
And so they weren't necessarily live, but we did essentially, while the event was going on, go around and capture sort of man on the street style interviews.
Yeah.
And I learned so much about robotics that I would never know.
Right.
I got to connect with people who are true industry experts who do that every day. And it kind of just felt like not even work.
Yeah.
I just
Right.
sort of got to talk to people,
Yeah.
enjoy myself, hear their stories, and learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's some of my favorite parts about it.
Did you ever
I
think
also,
about? Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
sorry.
No,
I
you're fine. Go ahead.
also interview former fellows or recently graduated fellows.
Okay. Yeah.
Warhol
Makes sense.
Academy.
Yeah. Right.
We capture fellowship stories and really just listen out for how the programs helped develop them as a professional,
Sure.
helped them have better prospects to be successful in the creator economy, and really just get insight into them as an individual and how they, because they were selected in this program, were able to grow their job prospects or opportunities, or even just find out a little bit more about themselves and where they want to go in their long term career.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice. It helps people reflect. They get to feel proud of themselves. I feel like a lot of people feel so proud after they
Yeah.
finish an interview and really get to hear reflections of themselves and really
Absolutely.
process the things that they've been through.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
No,
that's one of my favorite things to do.
I completely agree. Like, have you ever thought about podcasting at all or not?
I have thought about podcasting. I just have no idea what the topic would be.
I mean, you don't necessarily need topics like,
Yeah.
I mean, because like granted, it is easier to like, do something like this where like, you're just chop it up with someone, or just like a kind of like an interview style. But, you know, by yourself's always an option. Just like, if you feel like, strongly, like it's the hardest option. Cause like to be engaging for that long, dolo is it's one of the hardest things to do. I feel like in just media, entertainment, like whatever, you know what I mean? It's like whatever form you choose, but
Yeah. I'd have to think about it. I definitely could get into it. I could see it being something on my list of things to do.
yeah, yeah, like you ain't gonna like yeah charge forth for it. Nah, I mean, I feel like you just got a great voice for it. Like just like you have a great radio voice, like a great mic voice, like.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, you mentioned Table Magazine. And for those who don't know, it's like a lifestyle publication. And you were working on this segment, How to Pittsburgh, which is very, very dope. And the restaurant name is escaping me. It's like Apteca.
Apteca.
Was that it? Yeah. So that came out like what, like a couple years ago now?
Yeah.
2 years ago now. Yeah, which is pretty crazy. But how did that opportunity come about, and like what was it like just working with a just like a publication just from like a media production standpoint?
Definitely. I think it was really fun working with a publication because it kind of turns into a multimedia project.
Yeah, right.
It's really cool to be able to take someone's writing or just sort of a completely different media form and turn it into video. I think I've realized that's definitely one of my favorite things to do, to be able to take writing into video. But in terms of how the opportunity came about, really they were a client of ours.
Okay, yeah.
Warhol Creative. It was so interesting. Like that was some of the first client meetings I got to sit in on.
That's dope.
And really listen to what the client wanted, sort of participate a little bit in negotiating the deal and what was feasible for the team to execute. And really just listen to what the client was trying to accomplish. They wanted to create a video series around their issue, How to Pittsburgh.
Right.
And it was super fun. I'm really glad that we got to do it. I learned so much more about Pittsburgh, the art scene, the food scene, than I would have otherwise. And I'm really happy I got to participate in highlighting Pittsburgh as a cultural hub.
Right.
I think even some people who are native to Pittsburgh don't even necessarily haven't heard of those restaurants or haven't been to those arts institutions that we featured. And so it was really nice to be able to put Pittsburgh on a pedestal
Yeah.
and showcase that it's a place where you can come and enjoy to travel and really have things to do, even if you just live here locally.
Yeah, facts. Like, was that because like I know like you introed like the segment, but are you like is that the first time that not the first time, but like are you usually the on camera talent? Like, was that one like the first times like you step in front or like
I guess I could say I've been on camera talent before.
yeah, right.
In undergrad, I was a part of Ubaso African dance team.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's dope.
I did a little bit of acting.
Okay.
Um,
Yo, you've done it all for real. And taking the MCAT. That's crazy. No, that's ill though. No. Like that's I respect it all, yo. That's crazy. But no, yeah, continue.
So I think I'm not always the on camera talent,
Yeah, sure,
but
right.
I definitely have grown to love it. I think I sort of light up on camera,
Yeah.
surprisingly, in a way that I don't necessarily
Right.
regularly in person. And I just think it's a lot of fun to be
Yeah.
able to engage with the camera as a medium.
Right.
In terms of working in my current position, I think that was one of the first times
Wow.
I was on camera in a long time.
Wow.
Now, I have a background in pageants, actually.
Okay.
So, like, being on camera really isn't a
Like new.
shush
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me
right,
necessarily.
exactly. Right.
But I think it had been at least a year since I had been on camera those
Okay.
first times I was thrown into this project.
Yeah.
And I was definitely rusty. And primarily because, of course, now I would warm up before I get on camera. I'm going to drink some water, whatever. Cool. But when I tell you, no shade to anybody, but like that initial video was very last minute. I was given a script, I edited it a little bit,
Right.
and then an hour later, we were out there. I didn't even know I was gonna be the on-camera talent for that video.
One of those situations. Yeah, right. Yeah, one of those.
And so I'm really glad that I was thrown into it because that's just the reality of the job.
Right,
Sometimes you show up to a place and the person who is supposed to be on camera doesn't want to be. And so you just kind of have to get into it and be confident and roll with the punches.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes that's just how working the media is.
Yeah, no, facts, yeah.
And I'm glad that I sort of had to adjust quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny though because I teach on camera presence as part of working on the fellowship.
Yeah.
That's part of their lecture series. And so I always now can take that video and use it in that lecture.
Right.
Because even though I'm sure I look fine to the average person, I realize that when I'm nervous, sometimes I do this weird, like, slow blink thing. And it's fine. I noticed it.
Yeah, right.
My mom noticed it, but
Yeah.
other people didn't necessarily
Right.
notice it.
Right.
But I can always take that and use it as an example of be prepared. You might be nervous. Sometimes you have to sort of do a little bit of biohacking.
Yeah, right.
Be in control of those sorts of things.
Right. Biohacking, interesting. Yeah, I never heard that term before, but I mean, I immediately got what you were talking about. So
Yeah.
it's a great term.
And just sort of override those tendencies that
Right.
we have when it comes to.
What's like your trick for like, yours? Like, how did you kind of hack the slow blink?
I think it was really just getting a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
I think following my breath is very helpful.
Yeah, right, okay.
I've also realized talking as slowly as possible helps. It always feels too slow, but it's not.
Right.
And so I think if I'm really riding my breath, following my breath,
Right.
and using the time it takes to actually fully get my words out and
Right.
articulate everything, then my brain is occupied enough where I'm not leaning into those other maybe nervous habits.
Yeah.
Like twitching, playing with things. So, yeah, it just comes down to trying to have a level of self-control.
Right,
recognizing ahead of time before you even show up on camera that you might have some tendencies.
Right.
Even in the fellowship, when I go over that on-camera presence lecture, I always have them at the end of the lecture on the spot come up and tell a story.
No shit.
And the rest of us just sort of let them know what they were doing while they were up there telling that story,
Mm.
especially in a moment where they were surprised or caught off guard and
Right.
didn't know they were going to have to do that.
Right. Right.
So somebody might, I have, I had one student, she would say obviously a lot. Like, obviously, as a little girl, I was so good at this.
Yeah.
And
Right.
she didn't mean any harm by
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
but
Right.
you can't say that.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Or, some people stomp their foot or
Oh.
hold their arms behind their back.
Oh shit.
Or
Okay.
they tug on their earring, or they touch their hair too much, like
Right.
grooming
Right.
behaviors.
Yeah. Right.
Just those little tiny things that we do subconsciously to try to get that nervous energy out.
Mm.
So I think it's always helpful to sort of do some self taping, have someone give you some feedback.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it just lets you see exactly what you're doing and what you need to be aware of.
Sure.
Because now that I know, I do the slow blink. I try to avoid it.
Right. You know what stuff like for me is I just did it right now is like.
Mm-hmm.
I say like all the time, bro.
Yeah.
It's tough. I try to be conscious of it, but with me too is when I'm talking and I'm so into the conversation, it just kind of slips out, you know, and it's just like right there.
Yep.
You know, I don't know what to. It's. I don't think I can even biohack that to be real, because like even by the time I catch myself, I'm just like, damn, I said it like 86 times, like, damn, you know. But it is what it is, man. Thankfully, I'm not in front of people. I'm just on this podcast, man. But when people are coming into your fellowship, like, how does that process work? Do people
So
apply or?
yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
so it is work,
Yeah.
even though we have a sort of an application cycle and stuff like that. It's sort of a learn and earn situation,
Okay,
if you
gotcha.
will.
All
We
right.
recruit, we have a recruitment period, people apply. We have a 2 round interview process,
Okay.
and we actually select a cohort of people. So we're really looking to create a well rounded group of 8. And then ultimately, throughout the selection process, we're also looking for people who have sort of already invested in themselves when it comes to working in arts and entertainment. So we've worked with fashion designers who are small businesses and need to get a handle on creating real branded content
Okay.
for social media. We've worked with filmmakers who are trying to learn how to execute short form storytelling, because that is different than long form
100%.
or documentary
Right.
work and things like that.
Mhm.
So we've also worked with people who want to genuinely be social media managers and who need to learn how to manage pages, look through data analytics, and any of those necessary skills. So we sort of release a wide net in terms of who's able to take on the opportunity, but ultimately it is a video editing
Mm.
work process.
Right.
We have pretty intensive workflows, to be
Yeah.
honest. They have deliverables, and so essentially, on top of the lecture series and getting to shadow on shoots with our industry professionals through the
Mhm.
production studio, they also have to go out and capture their own content
Mm.
based on our content pillars
Okay.
and essentially turn around high quality video edits.
What are some of those pillars?
Sure.
Yeah.
So essentially, the point of the program is for them to be creating content that celebrates Pittsburgh.
Okay.
But also because the Pop District is the initiative of the Andy Warhol Museum, we do have some Warhol ecosystem related content as
Okay.
well. So a good example would be like Pittsburgh and pop culture.
Mhm.
So anything that's a loose thread in that vein works. Same with Warhol and pop culture. You can make a whole video about Jay-Z rapping about having Warhols in his home,
Yeah.
things like that.
Right.
We also have Pittsburgh events, so just really getting out into the street, frequenting Pittsburgh events, showcasing them, showcasing what a fun event or opportunity it was, and really posting it so that other people can hear about it.
Right.
Really just things like that.
Okay. Word.
So
Y'all ever hit slappers and bangers?
yeah,
Okay. Word. Fine. Okay. Word. Dope. 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 I just word up.
yeah. And then we also have Warhol ecosystem. So anything related to the museum, whether it's a new exhibition or just a rotating show. Um, some people have taken Warhol quotes and turned it into their own thing.
Yeah.
as long as it fits that loose thread, it works. It just needs to be cohesive,
Right.
and I need to be able to see that it makes for good content when they pitch it to me.
Got you.
Because they are responsible for those video edits of
Yeah.
pitching everything that they do and executing it from end to end.
Okay.
So I have it all laid out for them. I give them a template that they can use to make sure that their pitches make sense, and that it would be something that works at a legitimate professional level.
I
Like,
was about to say, like, are you like a hard sell on a pitch? Like that? Does it take much to get you behind like an idea or a concept?
I think if you can back your concept,
Right. Yeah.
then
Then
no, it's
Yeah.
not a
Right.
hard sell. You just
Facts.
need to be able to show me that you've thought about the idea, that you have it worked out from a logistics side as well as a creative side, and that you can manage it.
Right.
Because sometimes people have huge ideas
Right.
and they have
Just
no idea how to
absolutely.
operationally
Absolutely.
execute it.
Exactly.
And so we've had instances like that where someone's a visionary, but they don't necessarily have the technical skills to back that up. And so it's not enough to just be able to bring me an idea that's interesting and that would make good content. If you can't execute it, you can't do it. I can't approve it because how are you going to execute it? How are you going to prove that this is actually going to be worth me paying you for? Because once we start the process, if you still have questions that are unanswered, if you didn't think about how you were going to execute a certain shot before we got there, that's money wasted. And it is supposed to be real life work, a true industry experience. We do a little bit of hand holding because they're there to learn.
Right.
But it's work.
Yeah.
And from that perspective, no, I'm not a hard sell.
Yeah. Right.
But you have to show up, and I need to be able to see that this is going to get me a piece of content that's postable.
Yeah. Right.
At the end of the day. So
I feel like not even I feel like, but just in just the creative community at large, right? It's that's just so right brain, art, doing all that stuff that, business logistics and financial just take a crazy back seat. So people, in these lanes or in these industries, like they truly have to make a conscious effort to learn just the technical, the logistics, the financial side of all the dope creative shit.
yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, you have to be able to do all of that to be good at my job, which is essentially the job I'm teaching them to do.
Right.
It's hard to be a successful producer when you have no concept of budgeting. You could have the most creative set design in your brain. If it costs too much and it's out of budget, it's not going to work. You're still going to have a client that's not happy. And so you really just have to have a variety of skills. Being creative is enough. You have to have that business side and that ability to negotiate, manage your stakeholders, keep your client happy, manage the whole creative team from end to end, because it might be a different team working on pre-production than post-production. You might have videographers and photographers and graphic designers. You have to be able to communicate with all of them and execute large products that might work across different media platforms. So
this is, I mean, like, it really just sounds just like a media production boot camp, to be real. Like, yeah, it just, you get a piece of everything, they're just training you. So when you get out there, because that world out there is not for play. Shit is on budgets, timing, like, they don't play. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just the simple stuff.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid, you went to Miami, you did a shoot for 3 days, you get back and you don't have the footage because your files are corrupted and you didn't back them up properly.
Damn, son. Yeah, bro.
What do you do?
Yeah, right.
When the shoot costs $50K and you don't have any of the footage. Not an option.
Yeah.
But
crazy.
people will do stuff like that by accident. Of course, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah,
but
right.
those are real things that they have to go through and see. Like, we don't have these workflows and frameworks for no reason. We tell you to do things in a certain way because that helps maintain everything and make sure you don't have any pitfalls. So,
Yeah. How
yeah.
do you like even just kind of balance that intensity just
Mm,
and just like within yourself, like
the intensity of what?
just like what the job demands, just like,
Mm.
managing a fellowship, but then also making sure your shit is what I
Yeah.
mean, okay, like
I think it can definitely be intense for sure. I think the best thing when it comes to organization for me is having sort of admin days and content days. I'm not doing video review or reading over somebody's
yeah,
script
that's
or
like good
approving a
perspective.
pitch on the same day that I have to be at Pittsburgh Robotics Network
Yeah,
Discovery Day
right,
doing
yeah, right,
interviews.
of course.
I think keeping that balance and keeping those kinds of days separate
Yeah,
is really sort of a key to the game when it comes to being able to balance that stuff,
for sure.
because there are a lot of moving pieces to the work, and you have to have those days where you're just sitting down doing admin exclusively.
Right.
And so there's always a lot of moving pieces, and even the fellows will say, honestly, like, it sort of sits on your head the entire 16 weeks that they're with us. Like,
Hmm.
the weight of the program.
Okay, so like it's a 16-week program.
Oh, yeah.
Copy. Okay, got you. Okay,
So
okay.
they're with us for 4 months.
Got you. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I actually train two different cohorts a year,
Wow.
and they're with us for 16 weeks each.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like you watch them. I mean, 4 months is like a lot to see, someone develop and like, grow and
It is.
yeah.
And it's night and day
Yeah.
sometimes how people come in and out simply because of the information that they're being able to give that I'm able to give them access to.
Yeah.
Um but in terms of balancing the intensity, I think just staying organized, having no separate days is really the key for me to be able to keep the balance.
Ever heard the
And
mic a little bit more?
sorry.
Right here at the mic a little bit more?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you're good, yeah.
I think what was I saying? Oh yeah. Just utilizing sort of those admin days and production days, keeping them separate
Yeah.
entirely, really just helps me work efficiently and sort of keep control over all of the moving parts of the job.
Right.
Because I am sort of managing their workflows and my own at the same time.
Right.
And that really just comes into like using those agile project management methodologies, staying on top of the workflow, the status updates, and just making sure I know what's going on at all
Sure.
times. I'll get to it when I get to it,
Right.
but
You just
as
want
long
to
as,
at least,
yeah,
just have it in the ether.
yeah,
Yeah, no, for sure.
exactly.
I feel you.
I love Notion. That's a project management software I use.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, I don't want. What is that? If you want to get me hip to that, educate me on
You can
Notion.
use it for a variety of different industries. It's essentially a sort of a work hub.
Okay, yeah.
You can sort of make your calendars, your
Okay, so it's
to-do
just
list,
like
your task
another
list.
work interface, pretty much.
Yeah, but you can use it for project management. So it helps with status updates, it helps with like
Oh
cross-functional
shit.
teams.
Okay.
Essentially like they have their own workflows, so I can see every piece of content that's associated with them
Okay.
for the duration of the program. I can quickly
Oh,
click
that's fire.
see
Wait. That's kind of
the
crazy.
status that it's at.
Yeah.
Is it in post production?
Got you. Okay.
Is the script still in editing?
Got you.
Things like that. I can leave them comments, they can leave me comments.
Got you. Got you.
I completely tailored it and organized it to be beneficial for the program.
Yeah.
So I could like label different things and just create an interface that makes sense for
Yeah.
us. And I think that definitely helps with
It
organization. It
sounds
gives
like it.
them their own place where everything that belongs to them exists.
Housed in one spot.
Yeah, and I love it. Like, I get notifications right to my phone if they tag me on a comment or if the status of their workflow changes. So I can just keep up to date on everything that's happening at all times.
Word.
And I think it also helps me keep them responsible and focused. It doesn't allow for things to just sort of be all over the place because it's very clear the workflow is just sort of a location of truth and a place for us to be all aware of what's going on.
Hell yeah. No.
So,
That's dope as fuck. And it's like even from like a project man, like is once you said that and like you were just even saying how you can oversee a bunch, I'm just like, yeah,
mm-hmm.
like a software like that is damn near essential. I don't even know
Yeah.
how you do that without something like that, so that makes complete sense. Just even kind of going back to some like your past, um,
Mm.
just professional experiences. Like, what do you think specifically, just from any one, you know, job or just workplace that you took with you into your role now? Like, was there anything like necessarily specific that you're like, oh shit, like this experience directly helped me with something I'm doing now with the Pop District?
It was absolutely being an ethics fellow at the NIH.
Okay.
That was my first true big girl job
Yeah.
where if I didn't get it done and do it the right way, I was out.
Yeah.
So I think having that experience where it was a real work situation,
Yeah.
school was no more. There was no like,
Yeah.
it wasn't casual. It was very much just you work for the federal government and there are important things to get done. And if you don't do them properly, we could all get in trouble.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Facts.
I think working there, recognizing one, it was in the environment. Everybody cared so much about what they were doing and what our office did as ethics professionals at the time. Um, I also got to really honestly get direct feedback about what I was like to work with at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember one of my supervisors told me that my email was unprofessional, and I had no idea that the way I wrote my email was unprofessional.
Really?
And she was right. It
Yeah.
was unprofessional,
For
and someone needed to point it out to me.
Yeah. Right.
But just things like that, where someone was honest with me, and I really got to genuinely come to understand what it meant to show up to work
Yeah.
and take ownership of my work.
Hmm.
I think it cemented to me just what it means to show up to the workplace and execute. So
Was it just like the way the email was typed, or just like what? Let's like the
I think it
language
was
was
too
there?
casual.
Casual. Okay.
Yeah, I was essentially just letting her know that the thing that she had asked me about was complete, but I think I sent a quick email being like, I don't know what I said
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly,
Right.
but
Right. No. Yeah.
too casual, not
Yeah.
like,
Right.
hi, so and so, yes, this is complete, period, thanks. And it was probably just something short.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily how I should communicate with the supervisory ethics specialist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I mean, but like you gotta learn shit like that. You know
of
what I mean? Yeah, I mean,
course.
it's like you gotta go through like experiences like that.
Absolutely. And then I think that was the first time I was genuinely working on project management in the same vein that my fellows do now. I had
Yeah.
my own workflow. I had, let's just say, letters A through H assigned to me, and I was just expected to stay on top of the projects that came in that were assigned to me.
Yeah.
And be a contributing member of the team and help just things go smoothly and do the work that we all needed to do.
Right.
And I think getting to see myself be sort of a part of the machine, get to recognize why my part is important and how it helps the overall office and then the overall government was very helpful for me. And it definitely helped me solidify who I am at work and what I'm capable of doing.
Oh yeah.
I think if I hadn't gotten that project management experience, I would not necessarily
Be as well armed. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Of course.
even just in how to communicate with people, because
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily like how she told me that my email was unprofessional.
So that was even a lesson in holding back.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So-
No, but that corporate, like the corporate jargon and like just like the corporate confrontations, I should say, are crazy.
Can
son.
be.
Are crazy because it's all just talking through your teeth. Like you're not they're professionally saying like what the fuck, essentially. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't like the way you said that. And, like,
Yeah.
the tone you said it in, but it's like you just can't escape that in the workplace. It's just because if that I guess I don't know, just like behavior isn't established, that it's just if left to us, the inmates would run the asylum, like be talking crazy over email, just whatever. So you have to have those parameters, I should say, in place, just so you know that you're deviating from something. So it can that's that whole corporate world, just on any level in the entertainment industry and just whatever industry you're in. It's just you have to learn it. You know what I mean? Is definitely like a learning experience for sure. And just even that kind of leads me to my next question. Like, you're 3 years into your role, your gig right now. Like in the world of media production, what are things that you've learned that have helped you succeed in your role, or just really about the media production industry, the media industry in general?
Mm. I think the best thing that I've learned is how to tell a clear, cohesive story.
Mm.
I do feel like I've always been a storyteller. Like I mentioned, I was a writer growing up and I continued to write through undergrad, but I think telling a story through visuals is completely
Right,
different.
exactly.
Being able to execute visual storytelling from a compositional perspective can definitely be challenging. And so I think that's the biggest thing and the biggest takeaway,
Mm.
definitely, for my current position. Sorry, I forgot the question.
No, 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 you're fine. I mean, you were incredible answer, but it was just what are some of the things that you've learned about the media production
Mm.
industry, or just even within your role specifically, 3 years in.
I think working within the social media industry, it's
Yeah.
very clear to me how important of a facet it is for media in general.
Hmm.
Even though it's only developed quite recently, it's definitely not traditional media, but it's definitely taken the world by storm. In some ways, you could have exclusively a social media strategy and still be very successful at executing brand awareness and driving conversions. And so now that there's a whole new world attached to media, I think the way that short form storytelling is also going to continue to have an influence on media is going to be forever evolving.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
That short form content is king. Like, I don't even think, and it's like, as far as social media goes, there's no regression. Like, once
Mm-mm.
something has advanced and once it's in a certain place, that's just where it is, and
We're not
that's
going
where
back.
exactly. So short form storytelling, you gotta learn that, because it's not going away.
It's
If
not.
anything, it's almost gonna be it's the standard now, kinda
Yeah.
in the sense, but
Yeah.
mm,
It's interesting. Filmmaking crews are having to account for social, especially because the framing of social content is different.
mm,
If you're making a movie, your frame is widescreen. It's going to be 16 by 9 in terms of
right,
aspect ratio.
right,
Social content is 9 by 16.
mm,
That frame is tight.
mm,
There's not a lot of room to work with when it comes to being able to tell a story visually, because
right.
if you also think about it, you only are working with 9 by 16. And then on top of that, in the social media interfaces, there's a lot of buttons and functionality that cuts off the
That's
visual
true.
components of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
aspect
yeah. Right,
ratio
right,
as
right.
well.
Yeah, right, right, right.
You're only really working with that left corner of
That's
the
true. That's
screen
true.
a lot
Yep,
of the
that's a good
time.
point. That's a good point.
And so it's really turning on its head how we go about executing and capturing video.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, we'll see how it continues to make the world go round, but it's definitely taking everything by storm.
Yeah, for sure.
Some brands are doing such interesting social driven, social first content that it really is making or breaking their sales strategy.
Mm.
And they're playing with social just for the sake of playing with social.
Right,
It's
right.
not even necessarily the same approach to making billboards
Yeah,
or a Super Bowl ad.
right.
It's a completely different world, and you really just have to exist exclusively on social to exist on social now,
Mm.
despite the fact that it hasn't really been around very long.
Do you think like some of these like major companies that have been around, when they're trying to make their jump into social media, it's like a bit jarring? Just because like we don't know these companies for being on socials like that. Like,
Mhm.
you'll see like Coca-Cola and like TikTok comments like,
Yeah,
yeah, yo, this person ate. It's like, all right, Coca-Cola. Like, what do you like? What's going on? Like, what are your thoughts on like companies like that behave in that manner? Like, do you think that their hearts are the right place? They just got to work on the on the execution, or like what? Like, where do you think that gap is bridged?
well, I mean, gone are the days where a big brand gets to not be on social.
Yeah,
I
right.
think
Yeah, I mean, you're not lying.
I think yeah, it's sort of the place where people go to check in
Yeah,
and see. It's almost like a landing page,
yeah,
like your regular website.
yeah,
Instagram, especially, it's a
yeah.
place where people go to scope out authenticity
Mm,
and see how you present yourself
right.
visually
Interesting.
in a way that's separate from other marketing touch points.
I agree. Yeah.
And so when we're seeing brands in the comments, consider they don't really have a choice.
Sacrifice. Yeah. Right.
I mean, they need to exist on social. They people need to be aware of them at that particular touch point. People need to be able to interact with their favorite brands on a device that they spend most of their time on.
I mean, you're not lying. And just even in like the age of social media, it's just the accessibility. Like for you to be a consumer of a brand of a product and you just get that immediate accessibility to like, hey, I love your product. You know, just like leaving a comment on the page or just if you have an issue, being like, hey, I don't know, like this, last product, which obviously companies have a eagle's eye on. Because I mean, if someone leaves, I mean, just even like we're in the day and age where it's like people are hounding people for like reviews.
Yeah.
Like just even as simple as DoorDash, like yo, please 5 star. They're just like Uber, right? Yo, 5 star, because those ratings, is just is such an indicator, and businesses will be like, yo, please don't leave a bad rating. Like, please, like if you if you threaten to leave a bad rating, they might give you stake in the company just to be like, yo, please don't. Like, please do not hit the review boards with that,
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
But it just further emphasizes how important that social proof is.
Yeah.
A Google review is in the same vein as user generated content on social media,
Mm,
and getting
mm.
that organic media coverage,
Right.
which is really what that kind of boils down to at the end of the day.
Right.
Somebody was so in love with your brand, so in love with your company, that they organically chose to post it, even though it doesn't necessarily benefit them.
Yeah.
They just want to talk about it because it spoke to them, it resonated with them.
Right.
It's something that they wanted to go broadcast on their own. That is invaluable today, and it's a completely different form of marketing than what we're used to. Before, you could put something up on a TV commercial,
Right.
and it worked because TV was different. The way
Yeah.
we consume that form of media is
Right.
different. People would get together at a certain time and
Very
have
true.
watch parties.
Yeah,
And we
exactly.
have that for some stuff, like
Yes.
Love Island
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. Right. Right. Do you watch?
No.
Nah, me neither. So I don't know. I just thought I'd ask you. I mean, just because I know like that's definitely
Yeah.
in the ecosystem right now, but I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. Like,
I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
I really don't like.
what is it like? Is this like what like people just spend like? Is it like The Bachelor just like on an island? Like what is it?
It's a dating show similar to The Bachelor, except it's not necessarily featured on one person. It's
Okay.
like a bunch of singles, male,
Okay.
female,
All
come
right.
together. They're all probably like 9s and 10s, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. I mean, right. Where the money's at, baby.
Yeah. I don't know the full concept, but I think essentially whoever wins at the end, like whoever is truly coupled up or something, gets 100K. Something like that.
Man, bring back Flavor of Love, man.
Oh, Flavor of Love is so good.
Bring back Flavor of Love, man. We got to get back to the real reality dating shows, man. Flavor of Love had me on lock, bro. That was such a legendary show. But what would you tell like a brand or organization that, let's just hypothetically say like they haven't really just built the uptake, social media wise? Like how would you tell them to ingratiate themselves without looking too, I guess, performative, for lack of a better word?
Totally. I think when I'm working with brands and they're really just trying to get started, I always start with uncovering their brand positioning. What do they uniquely contribute to the marketplace, and what's their unique perspective in their marketplace? Once I kind of have a feel for that, from there, I would start coming up with content pillars. Like, what are 3 to 5 general content buckets that you could always attach a loose thread to, that you could always come back to, so that you're not forgetting to make content or what exactly makes sense for your brand? I think once you kind of have those organizational elements in place, it becomes really easy to make stuff that resonates and makes sense. From there, I would just focus on quality, good lighting, good
Right.
visuals, good audio, and making sure that there's authenticity, which is kind of a buzzword nowadays,
Yeah.
but more just so make sure it actually feels like your brand.
Right.
Make sure that it reflects sort of the psyche of the person that you're trying to interact with. What kind of stuff do they like to look at? What kind of stuff do they like to do?
Right.
Marketing to a soccer mom is different than marketing to a 16-year-old boy.
100%.
And so they talk differently, they value different things, they hang out with different kinds of people, their days look different. And so, how does your brand fit into their day?
Yeah.
What kind of things would your brand be sitting next to on their kitchen counter? Stuff like that. I think tapping into the lifestyle and the mentality around your target audience allows you to make content that's going to hit. And it allows you to be creative as well because you kind of get to play around in someone else's playground and make stuff that you know will catch their attention.
Oh yeah. Well, nah, man, I completely agree. Erin, thank you so much for coming through. I think you are a wealth of knowledge, just for your fellowship and just, even in general in the, media production lane. So thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're a busy woman, but this is the part of the pod where if you, want to plug anything, you got anything maybe coming up, spots that you'll be at, events, projects, or literally whatever you want, the floor is yours. But thank you so much for coming through. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let me think about what I want to plug.
Yeah.
Dang, do I want to plug anything? I guess I have a project, but I don't know how. It's kind of new, so I don't know how to talk about it.
All right. Do you want to plug your IG? Don't have to, but
sure. Follow me on Instagram at being Erin Victoria.
Word up. Well, hey, listen, man. MIC Podcast episode 178. Rowan is a master of their own creation. We got Erin Victoria Davis in the building. And we're out, bro. Peace.